What's the cruelest prank you've ever seen? Friend of mine had a crush on his co-worker. It was sort of an open secret. His manager tried to help him, offered advice, some things to say, small gifts she might be into, etc. What no one knew at the time was that said manager and said co-worker had recently started dating and hadn't told anyone yet. So he meant it as a prank on his new girlfriend to be put into these awkward situations, but my friend's feelings were really hurt when it all came out. Wow, that is some class A assholery right there. If the manager was dating a co-worker whom he supervised, along with actively engaging in this type of shenanigans, he should be fired, or at the very least demoted. Is your friend Andy when he was trying to hit on Pam and Jim was giving him terrible ideas? A group of girls at my high school told a girl that they were hanging out at one of their houses at 9 near a train station, but they really just made up a time and place that would make her stranded at the last train stop with no more trains home. That happened to me. I was dating a dude who lived near Los Angeles, and I lived in Oceanside. There was a party at like 9 p.m., so I took the train out and got there at 8 p.m. This was before cell phones. I used the payphone to call him and he said he was heading to the train station. At 11 the train stopped running, and I didn't have money for a return ticket. He was going to drive me home and spend the next day with his mom who lived in Oceanside. The security guard bought me a ticket home, and when I got home by 1 a.m., I had a bunch of AIM messages on my computer from him, and he had blocked me on everything. He went straight to his mom's and they both thought it was hilarious. I was so stupid. To be fair, I was hella stupid. Dude claimed he knew Trent Reznor, lol. Wondering if we knew the same guy. My buddy from high school after joining the Navy kinda turned into an asshole. He was living in Oceanside when this all happened, but his parents live up near Law. He was taking a girl out to dinner and a movie, but they met at his place and ended up having sex first. By the time they got to the theaters he decided he had too much to drink at dinner and wanted to go home to sleep. Instead of telling her he wanted to go home, he told her he had to go to the bathroom and left her sitting in her theater seat. This was before cell phones. She had called and left messages on his answering machine. I remember he played them for me and they were just so sad. The first two were her calling from a payphone, begging him to come pick her up. The last one was a few days later and it was her telling him how much he hurt her and that she had to have her parents come pick her up in the middle of the night. Remember him telling me the story and laughing. It always seemed so cruel to me. In the spirit of cruel revenge she should have gotten her mom to call each of those girls and say, "Name didn't come home today, she said she was meeting with you, do you know anything?" To be really cruel, get mom to say you were the last person to see her and the police want to talk to you. In middle school a girl came up to us on the playground and told this dude to go see the principal, he's looking for you, he got the call that your mom died. Then as soon as the dude ran away she told us all she just made it up. It was fucking horrible. I feel like the girl wouldn't have a lot of friends after this. Yeah, she went from one of a clique of popular girls to pretty much an outcast. It was like weeks/days before graduation anyhow, so I didn't really see a big fallout from it, but the guy was pretty messed up as a result, at least for that last bit I knew him. Saw a guy tip over the porta potty with someone in it. That memory is clear. I think it was his GF. Probably wasn't after that. Lol. I woulda dumped him faster than he dumped all those dumps on me. A friend of a friend in high school had her boyfriend pretend that he died. He had one of his friends call her saying he had died in a car accident and had someone else calling up pretending to be a doctor from the hospital. She was hysterical. Later that day, after she kept asking the fake doctor which hospital it was so she could be there, she found out it was all prank to see if she cared. Horrible. Anyway, they broke up. To this day it's the nastiest prank I've seen in person. Had a friend do that too. To this day, I don't trust him when he says he had health issues, because he had us all worried sick for weeks, saying he was having heart surgery on next day. The day of, I woke up to find a post on his socials from his dad saying that he died, that he was so scared before going under and now he wanted one last message. April Fools. I was so angry. Actually, no one was laughing cause this was not a short message, it was 5 paragraphs long and I was crying when I got to the message. I still don't fully trust him and honestly remembering it makes me even angrier. Someone asked a guy to be her boyfriend, he said yes and the next day she invited all her friends to tell him that she did it as a joke. This happened to me. I got the courage to ask her out, junior high, and she said yes. I took her to a movie, and asked her if she wanted to be boyfriend, girlfriend, and again, she said yes. She carried on like we were dating saying things like I'm so happy we're finally together. The girl would walk around holding my hand in school and I was in heaven. I couldn't have been happier at that moment in my life because I was dating my dream girl. All the popular dudes would snicker when we walked by, but I didn't care because I was too happy. A week or so went by and she was laughing when she said it was just a joke. I have never been so devastated. Edit. Thanks for all the kind words. Just to update on what happened down the road. Years later, karma caught up to my then fake girlfriend. She got really into heroin and skanked out a bit. She did end up pulling it together, but not until she felt well outside the popular pool. As for me, I did have trust issues for quite some time even through college, but, now, I'm very happily married to a wonderful woman who has never treated me wrong, and I couldn't be happier. For all of you who have had posted similar issues, I guess we share a hard lesson in life. People can be shitty, but in the long run, they just turn into good Reddit post fodder. Keep your heads up. Shittiness aside, that's a lot of commitment to just a joke. 8 years later, 2 years into marriage, first child is on the way. Girl, he's going to look so stupid when we tell him it was all just a prank. In college, at the end of the year club I was in had a roast of the outgoing seniors. My friend running the roast couldn't come up with anything for one of the guys, let's call him Ben. To drum up ideas, he called a bunch of Ben's close friends, also in the club, and asked them for things to make fun of Ben about. Thinking this was a confidential conversation, they proceed to absolutely lay into Ben. The guy is seriously lame. Honestly, when I'm talking to a girl and he is there, it is supremely awkward. My friend simply recorded that whole conversation and played it outright for Ben's section of the roast, mortifying Ben and all his friends simultaneously. Not only is that cruel, but what the fuck kind of friends does Ben have? If I was Ben, I wouldn't have had any friends left. Prank war going on in between two houses that were next to each other in San Diego, California circa 2014. My cousin lived in one of the houses and this happened when I went to visit him a few years back. House number 1 pulled a prank that led to a member in house number 2 being late for his first day of work. It was collateral damage but the guy ended up getting fired for it. Guy who lost his job came home furious. He then took a 15-pound medicine ball and painted it to look just like a soccer ball. He tossed the medicine ball into the front yard of house number 1 and waited. When he saw the guy come out of the house he yells, "Hey Josh, can you kick that ball back over here?" Dude proceeds to take a running start and square up and kick the soccer ball with every ounce of strength he had. Poor bastard went down almost immediately in tears and screaming. Ended up breaking 3 bones in his right foot. Just brutal. And this is when the pranks ended and became attacks, I'm just guessing. My ex-friend thought it was a funny prank to kill my brother's hamster and tie it up and dress it in ridiculous ways. I remember reading somewhere, probably on Reddit, that someone as a kid had a friend over who was a compulsive liar and was trying to convince him he had super speed. To prove it he said he was going to throw Op's hamster as hard as he could and then go catch it before it hit the wall. Needless to say, a few seconds later Op is standing there shocked as his hamster was flattened against the wall and immediately died. The kid apparently tried to play it off but when the mother came up and saw what happened she told him to leave and that he wasn't allowed to come back. I genuinely think we really need to watch out for kids like this. Kids that care more about being funny and impressing other kids than about the life of an innocent creature. Either they genuinely don't know that it's wrong to kill things, which is horrifying, or they do know but care more about themselves, which is also horrifying. When I was a kid, somehow my classmates found it funny to piss in other people's cans of soda. I did not have a good childhood. Dear God, where did you grow up? The gulags. Middle-class America, dude. I was once prank called by someone, a classmate presumably, and they told me they were going to kill my best friend who was in the same class as me. It was really fucking weird. The school never figured out who it was, they just asked if my friend had any enemies. Bro, we are 11. TBH, I had far more enemies at 11 than I do as an adult. Kids are assholes sometimes. I have 0 enemies at 27 and had at least 4 or 5 at age 11, 18. Kids are definitely assholes. In 6th grade I opened my locker and a note from the boy I had a crush on fell out saying he liked me too. A bunch of girls in my grade were there when I found it and were super happy for me, or I thought they were. When I went to the boy to ask him about it, he said he didn't write it, and the group of girls who were there when I found the note had written it. I turned around and sure enough they're laughing. But it crushed me, not that the boy didn't like me back, but because I didn't think these girls I'd gone to school with since 1st grade were that mean. A couple weeks later the group played a similar joke on one of the girls who was actually in on the prank against me, and I got a genuine apology from her after she realized how bad I must have felt. None of the other girls ever apologized. Happened to me. Was at my first school dance in middle school. Was always the shy kid, so I was surprised when one of the popular chicks came to ask me to dance. I said no because I was shy, but I was elated that I got asked. A few minutes later I'm in the bathroom stall and a few kids come in and start talking about how they paid her $10 to ask me, and if I said yes she would have just tripped me and made me look dumb. I never went to another dance all throughout middle and high school. Even prom. On the bright side you said no, which kind of made her look dumb, lol. In high school someone made a pipe bomb and sneakily threw it into a metal trash can. One of my friends unknowingly walked by when it exploded and blew out his eardrum. The trash can looked like a peeled banana afterward. That person was ratted out and expelled. Edit kid was arrested afterwards. Saw him 10 years later working at a car wash. All of this happened in 1997. I feel like this is one of those cases that crosses the line from prank to terrorism. This happened to me. 7th grade during Valentine's Day we had candygrams and cutesy stuff we could send to our friends, and obviously middle schoolers are sending them to their crushes. They would receive these candygrams during a class period as someone came by dropping them off. You could write a little message and then who it's from. I got one from this guy friend I liked and went up to him the next period and brought it up and said it was really cute and thanks. He looked a little confused but was like no problem. I felt kind of dumb after that and walked away, just to find out the next day that it was one of my friends who sent it to me and just put his name on it to make it seem like it was him. I mean, at least he was nice enough to go along with it because he was just as confused. In high school one of the cutest girls in my grade came up to me and told me she had a crush on me and wanted to go out on a date. I was skeptical because no one had ever asked me out before, but I was growing into my body pretty well and definitely more attractive than I was as an early teen, so I just figured puberty was doing some good work for me. We were 16-17 and had both just got our licenses, so she said she'd meet me at the movie theater and we'd go have dinner after the movie. I told my mom and she got all excited and helped me pick out an outfit and took pictures of me before my first ever date. Cringe F, but you know how it goes. I went and got a haircut and my car detailed so it'd be rolling fresh, you know. And believe me, I was looking tasty. Fresh shave, hair edged up sharp enough to cut glass. I was dripped out before the phrase even existed. So I show up at the theater a couple minutes early and am waiting for her, and after like 15 minutes I think maybe I'll call her to make sure she didn't like have an emergency come up or something. We didn't have texting back then. So I call her and she answers on speakerphone, and like 5 other girls are all laughing at me saying things like haha he actually showed up. So yeah, it was all just a prank to hurt my feelings. Joke's on me, I guess. Seen a video of 2 small girls. One told the other to look at the doorknob really close as it distorts your face. She then slammed the door right into her face, hitting her teeth. FYI, if you're missing teeth, as 8 to 9-year-olds tends to, it's really fucking easy to break shiny new adult teeth. Source: a large dental bill. When they gave that raccoon the cotton candy. Bastards. For context to anybody who doesn't know, raccoons apparently wash their food before eating it, and these guys gave a raccoon a piece of cotton candy and the raccoon washed it for it to disappear into the water. This is one cruel world we live in. My so-called friends had my mom drop me off at a mall and we hang out until nearing my bedtime. Mind you, this was back when there were pagers for the generation that grew up with smartphones. Back before cell phones were something everyone had there used to be a pager. So I asked my friends when we are going back home, cause my mom has talked to their mothers about someone dropping me off home. My parents both worked. Anyways, they decided to tell me that their mom will pick them up from the store and I should go ahead of them. They left and I was a 12-year-old lost kid in a mall with no parent. Luckily one of the male school bullies saw me and was like, "Oi nerd, what are you doing late?" and I just broke down crying. Kid just dropped the bullying and went, "Oi, what happened?" And according to my parents I just blabbered everything, and he told me to wait till he found a phone and paged my dad while calling his mom and telling her what happened. Needless to say, they got a frantic father going, "What the hell happened?" And the girls said they told their mom that I saw my uncle and left with him. But to be honest, me and the bully became best of friends. Edit: my parents thought I was kidnapped when they called my uncle, who said he hasn't been on shift in that area. Killing a farmer's cow is some sick joke. The cow was not a meat cow either, it was the farmer's beloved pet, and he pet it and fed it and played with the friendly cow each and every day. The farmer sued the kids who killed the cow and he won $70K and $20K for emotional upset. Stay winning, kings. The cow was an old bull. It was the most friendly cow I have ever seen. It was not even neutered and had really big horns and loved sitting next to the farmer and just grazed next to him. Edit: the kids did not necessarily kill the cow, but forced the old bull to walk upstairs. Cows can walk upstairs, but their anatomy is not built for it and it's extremely painful for them to do so. The old bull broke its front left leg and bellowed in pain for 10 minutes. The farmer had no choice but to shoot and kill his own pet that he has had for the last 8 years right then and there on the stairs. The kids pled not guilty in court, but they were forced to pay for it all. The bull was a Texas Longhorn, common in some areas but rare where we both lived. It was really sad to see the bull gone from the farm. I was neighbors with the farmer and he would always invite me over to play with the animals and feed them and everything. I don't know the person. And yet everybody knows the kid, but at my school, he'd unscrew the razors of handheld pencil sharpeners and then try to discreetly cut people's forearms and legs. What he'd been trying to accomplish is, and this is just twisted, make the people's parents think they'd be cutting themselves. Whenever the victim went to try and tell the teachers, they'd think the same thing. Shit went down when the person he'd been constantly targeting beat the shit out of him. Victim was put to juvie, he got out practically free. And now he uses needles to poke holes into people. He's not a phlebotomist, or tattooist. Last I heard from high school, incidents like the same happened, but with needles. Though, he's been way more discreet about it. Nobody knows who's doing it, other than me. The first time I met my brother's new girlfriend, she pulled me aside and started crying. She told me that she was pregnant, but my brother wasn't ready to tell anyone. She asked me to check up on him cause he was really nervous. A couple days go by and I texted her to see how she was doing and if my brother was doing okay and if they needed anything. She asked me what I was talking about. I said the baby. She replied, "Oh, You believed me. I was only joking, I'm not pregnant. I can't believe you fell for that. This wasn't some teenager either, she was 30. Yes, I told my brother. Yes, he still ended up marrying her. Almost 10 years later I still refuse to trust her. The Daddy05 YouTuber pranks. Those weren't pranks, they were child abuse. A friend of mine faked her suicide to get back at her boyfriend for April Fool's Day. I had helped her without knowing she was going that far. Her boyfriend had called her a slut and dumped her when she told him she was pregnant. Don't miss living in college dorms, don't miss either of them. They sound like a lovely couple. I put meatballs in the chute for the ice maker so when my roommate went to get some ice his glass filled up with meatballs. I laughed until I realized that meant the further ice would taste like meatballs as well. I don't have a specific example in my life, but I've always thought those fake lottery tickets are cruel. Those people think their life is going to change, and then it's all yanked away from them while people laugh. Same energy as when a parent gifts their kids something in the box for an iPad/Switch/ something expensive and fancy, but it's really something shitty and lame inside. The entire joke is, haha, you thought your dreams were coming true, but then they didn't. Look at us, a bunch of kidders, to toy with your emotions like that. I remember seeing a video where they switched the pregnancy test to a fake positive one on their friend struggling with infertility. Fucked up. A group of friends got together and one of the usuals, let's call him Eddie, didn't make it. Eddie texts asking what they're up to and they sarcastically respond, celebrating your birthday without you. Lo and behold, it was coincidentally Eddie's birthday weekend and he had no birthday plans. Upon realizing this, the group bought and decorated a cake that read Happy Birthday Eddie and staged a series of fake birthday party photos to make him think they forgot to invite him to his own party. To keep the prank going, they dropped off the smashed, leftover cake on his doorstep. He still hasn't found out, so they keep making elaborate stories as to why they forgot to invite him. Edit spelling. Also, this isn't my squad and I don't know Eddie, so this is all word of mouth, but last I heard, it's unclear if he knows of the situation and the group paid him back with a block of expensive cheese in his mailbox marked Happy Birthday Eddie.